Good morning, everyone. I have another guest with me here today. Welcome, Jono. How's it going, man?
Hi, I'm all right.
So we did
Well,
something brand new for the channel. We got up really early before the sun came up, and we went to Gasworks Park, which is a local park in Seattle, and we did a photo shoot because Jono is an excellent photographer. So I think I just kind of want to get into it and start looking at some of these photos. So I'll throw them up on screen while we talk about them so you can see them, and then we'll talk more about them afterwards. So you ready to get going here?
yes,
Sweet, sweet. You're frozen for a sec. Let's see if you come back. Cool, you're
that's
back, you're
good.
back. So this first one here is the one with the Chainlink Fence, yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. I like this one, came out so good. I love the way the rain looks, like on the lens and like on the fence and stuff. Like what went into like to this one after like post and everything. And I just want to hear about like kind of your process doing the editing and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So originally when I looked at the photo, like the photo itself came out pretty blurry.
Mm.
So I was kind of like, ah, shit, I don't know if I can make this work. But yeah, when I went through that photo, what I essentially did was I kind of turned up the exposure and the contrast for it. And then I used the clarity and texture tool and turned those up a little bit as well. And then something I really like to do with my photos specifically is that I like to turn the vibrance up, but I also like to turn the saturation down a little bit just to give it a little bit of a washed out look.
That's super cool. Like you'd never guess looking at this that it was blurry in the first place, and like you had to do all
Yeah,
that tricky stuff to it. But it came out looking so cool. I love the angle and the composition of it too. It's awesome. All right, let's
yeah,
move on.
I
Keep
was
going.
pretty hyped with how it came out.
Yeah, honestly, it looks fantastic. If you can't tell, you can see the mask from a previous video that I did. We're going for a bit of a post-apocalypse vibe. We thought it might be appropriate given the times we're living in.
Yes.
uh, this one's cool too, with my hand like going through the jacket there, with the
Oh,
the the stuff in the background.
yeah, that one was interesting because I mean, just overall with all these photos, what I did was just something that I haven't done before, which is use the flash on my camera. Because typically, in a non-COVID world, I work in a concert venue,
Mm,
and flash isn't allowed. That's like one of the rules. Mostly because A, you don't want to distract the artist on stage, and B, they typically have lighting up there. So, you're going to kind of wash people out. And also, it's just kind of a courtesy thing to the other photographers in the photo pit
yeah.
because you don't want your flash ruining their photo. Like, I worked a show one time at El Corazon, and this guy had his fucking flash on. Can I curse? I'm not sure if I can curse or not.
You can curse as long as it's not in the
Cool.
first minute. I think it's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube does. Um, but yeah, this dude like had his flash on the entire time, and he was just like totally ruining a bunch of photos that I took, and it was sucked.
No. Oh, that's
Um,
terrible.
I decided to like take a little bit of a different approach this time. You wanted to go with the post-apocalyptic look, but also like I've noticed a trend specifically where this style of photos just been a little bit more popular.
Okay.
The like flash photography kind of looks like it was taken with like a camera, like a disposable camera look. Um, so I wanted to recreate that, and I was actually pretty satisfied.
You really got it blended out nicely. And I love like
Yeah.
I think I mean it's the flash obviously, but also like the pants that I'm wearing are like, hydrophobic or whatever. So all the tiny little rain droplets on the legs came out so cool and like reflective.
Yeah.
And it was also like at this point the sun hadn't come up and it was raining in Seattle. So like I think we needed the flash for lighting for sure because that would have been
Yeah.
just
I
dark.
mean, I'm looking at the original with Berlin right now, just comparing the two. And like, yeah, you were very, very like whiting out the
Just
whole
bright
thing.
front and center. All right. Okay, so this next one
Exactly.
I was curious why you chose this one because like it's the one where like I'm just in the bottom right of the frame and then it's like mostly the rain droplets in the sky and it's super cool, but I'd love to hear like what went into choosing this one as one of the ones you wanted to show.
Yeah, I chose this one. So in photography, there's this thing called the rule of thirds.
Hmm.
And basically what the rule of thirds is that when you look at a photo, you want to divide it into three columns, both horizontally and vertically, right? You don't want your main focus to be in the center.
Right.
You kind of want your focus to be a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. And that's kind of what happened here with this photo. But I think the other thing with it was that just like I kind of liked how you're in the photo, but it kind of seems like the main focus was more the rain
Yeah, and it looks so
as
cool.
well.
The little like the like ghost droplets on the lens and everything. It looks like, I don't know, a little bit like, Fallout, post-apocalypse, Ash kind of shit going on. I love it.
Yeah.
Then we got the one right after it, which is I think the same kind of area, but I'm like standing on top of the hill. And this one I am
Yes.
more like center. Yeah, this one's really cool as well. I love the like the pose and the expression are really, really nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I could see that as a pose that someone would make for Cyberpunk 2077 before it flopped.
Maybe I'll go into
Yeah,
Photoshop and like take it and make a Cyberpunk 2077 poster and put it on
you should do that.
for the
Do
thumbnail.
it. There you go.
There we go. I got my thumbnail. I'll figure it out now. I'll work on that this weekend.
Yeah, with the last three photos, like the color for them was very similar just because the background is the same. So I kind of wanted to make sure that I got everything kind of looking similar. Just because
Totally.
I wanted like at least these three photos to have a similar look, kind of as if they were one big piece of something.
This one's my favorite. This is the one with me on top of the pipes, like way up, like up in the ceiling with the hand down in the center.
Oh yeah, where you look like Spider-Man.
I want to be Spider-Man. That's the secret, guys.
Yeah. No, that's like what I thought when I first saw that photo. I was like, oh, it kind of looks like Spider-Man. Yeah, that photo was cool. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but we took 100 photos.
Yeah, we did. So this is
that day.
6 out of 100 photos that we took during that shoot.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the photography process is that you're gonna take like hella photos. Look, I remember back when I was still doing shows, like at the end of the night, I would have at least 1,000 photos.
Wow.
When I saw that one, I was like, damn, that one came out really cool. Just
That's
because
keeper.
you're climbing around on the pipes, and I think of all of the ones, like that one just seemed like the best. It kind of seems like you're a video game character who's about to like do a quick time kill or something.
Air assassination.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Oh, I
Ghost of
love it.
Tsushima or
Yes.
Spider-Man.
And then finally we have this one. This thing was one of the last ones we took in the tube of concrete, like the tunnel of pillars.
Yeah, no, totally. I don't know if you remember, but when we were at the park, like I was trying to find different angles for that one.
And you can see that like this is one of the ones where it's daytime because we kind of shot through sunrise. So there's finally some sunlight there. So I think that was the perfect time to do this one because it looks really nice with the natural lighting.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like the other angles that I got, like you could still see the sky and
right.
Like I don't want to get anything except for you,
yeah,
the concrete and the grass.
I think the composition is lovely. And that's the thing is like, because these are like what, like 3 to 5 feet apart each.
Yeah.
So like there's space, but you got it like, so it looks like a solid tunnel. And I think that the perspective is a really nice, like kind of trick of the eye. It makes it look like a solid tunnel that I'm standing in, but you still have the nice lighting and everything. It's kind of wild. Cool. So that's all the ones that we had picked out. I will drop, if it's okay with you, John, I'll drop a link in the description so people can check out the other ones that you sent me too. So they have the whole list of them.
Yeah, look for it.
This was super fun. I was hoping that I'd find a way to do photography or like, a photo shoot of some kind on this channel. There'll probably be more in the future, but this was the first kind of foray into it. I think it went really, really well. I had such a good time shooting with you for sure. So you've been sipping on your coffee, but I'm going to do my first sip of coffee now. Best part of the day. Now they've kind of looked at the stuff from the shoot. Would you like to just kind of like introduce yourself a little bit more fully and talk about how we met and what it is you do as a photographer?
Yeah. My name is Jonathan, but I go by Jono. I'm from Utah, but I live in Seattle now because Seattle's a lot cooler than Utah. Fuck Utah. But also not really because I have a lot of cool people back there. Yeah. Pre-COVID, I was a live music photographer for the most part. My love for photography has always been something that I've tried to figure out how to put with live music. And, one day I stumbled upon some Instagram accounts, found out that there's people who just go to shows and shoot them. So I decided to shoot my shot for that.
For those who are interested, I'm sure there's lots of people out there, aspiring photographers, people who do photography and want to get into the concert scene. Do you have any tips or tricks of how to get that pass and where to start? Because I know it's probably hard to break into starting out.
Yeah, totally. Some good tips are reach out to local bands. You want to build a portfolio. I got lucky and just managed to get I wouldn't say big band, but like they were like a mid-tier band for my first show. Just because I reached out to their tour manager directly, and he was also
I
a
see.
photographer.
So like
Um,
find maybe like a band that you know or a friend that's in a band or something and just do a bunch of shots basically and just get a portfolio going so that you can reach out to a manager and be like, hey, I'm good at this.
yeah, so once you build your portfolio, most of these artists have their PR managers email on their Facebook, which is where I found most of them.
Okay.
So you reach out to them, you give them an email. At least in the scene that I like to work in, they're very supportive of smaller artists. Um,
Yeah.
like when I've gone to shows, like you'll see like maybe 5 or 6 like pit photographers.
Just like 3 to 6,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the venue.
Another suggestion that I have, throughout 2019 for a little bit, I was working for this magazine out of Ohio. It's an online magazine called Mainstream Media. A lot of PR people for bigger artists want you to work with a like publication, because the benefit for them is if you have a publication that you're working with that's sort of well known, then you have the benefit of getting that artists out a little bit more.
Oh, that's super cool. It's a lot like, I mean, it's a lot like kind of like having an agency a little bit that helps you with the outreach and stuff like that.
And you're supposed to reach out to the
Yeah,
PR manager
but it
yourself.
has that
Uh,
name behind it, which is really important.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so for the bigger shows, like that's kind of the benefit of that.
Yeah.
Although now that I think about it, some of the bigger shows that I've shot, I never did under mainstream. I
Huh.
mostly did under my own name.
That's really cool. I mean, I think it's like everything. Like I feel like the thing that so many young like aspiring artists or performers of any kind are they don't really understand is that it's mostly about reaching out and networking and talking to people. Like you can't just
Yeah,
create and avoid and expect it to go places. Like you really have to be willing to do the legwork, reach out to people, talk to people, ask to be in the right rooms because it's so easy to just like try to be in a void and it just doesn't work. You're not going to get very far that way.
you need to reach out to people. You need to network that shit. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to build anything without networking, because who's going to reach out to you if you're not reaching out to people?
All while not
Exactly.
being a dick though. Like there's a fine line between like networking, be like, hey, I can offer you this. Like what you're talking about with photography is a super symbiotic relationship where it's like, if you let me take the photos, I'll post the photos. Then your band gets publicity. I get publicity. It works for everybody. But then there's the other side of it where if you do too much on the side of like, give me this, let me be in your thing, let me do this with you, then it can be where like you're kind of being toxic. You got to like bridge the gap and always be able to offer something for what you're getting, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's how I came across shooting some of the bigger shows that I've shot is I took a chance, I reached out to someone, and then I got them to approve me. Obviously aspiring concert photographers that might be watching this between, now and the end of 2021, there probably won't be many opportunities for you yet, because, the world is on fire.
Yeah.
Um,
But what you can be doing is like if you know a friend who's in the band who are creating right now and it's safe and you're wearing masks or you're like, you're bubbled with them, whatever, just start building a portfolio like Jonna was saying. Like, just start taking photos in smaller settings and really like, honing your craft, getting a portfolio built so that when this is all over and there's going to be a boom, like there's going to be a renaissance of
yeah,
art of all
absolutely.
kinds. Like there's going to be so many concerts that got backlogged and need to happen. Like if you have a portfolio ready, if you've already been reaching out to PR managers and being like, hey, I'm aspiring, like give me a shot for some smaller stuff, like get yourself ready because there's really going to be an opportunity to like accelerate, I think, when this is all over.
Exactly. Like, I'm in a band right now on the side, and
Mhm.
well, I wouldn't say on the side. It's kind of my main thing right now. And so we've been working on the process for the whole last year of just working on our songs, and
Mhm.
also over the summer we got headshots done.
Nice.
Yeah. And so like, that's something that if you're an aspiring photographer for live music, you could do right now. Do you know a band that you like and you think, hey, maybe they might need some headshots? Reach out to them.
Or actors.
Um,
I mean, like Jono did my recent headshots, and that was an
yeah,
excellent experience. They've been really, really
yeah.
helpful for me. Yeah.
I did those back in May, right?
Yeah. Right when everything was kicking off, we went to a park and did a whole socially distant headshot photo shoot.
Yep. Having a telephoto lens is really nice for that.
Yeah. I think that about does it. I mean, do you have any, obviously, like, you should plug your social media for your Instagram, stuff like that. Like, anywhere else you'd like people to look for you, or when your music does come out, where they can find your band?
Currently, you can find my photos from concerts and stuff at rainydaymedia_. I have literally so many fucking photos on there from different shows. You'll
Awesome.
see artists like Turnstile and Knocked Loose and Dance Gavin Dance if you're into that sort of stuff. There's even some Under Oath for you old school emo kids.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll definitely link that. I'll put it in the description so you guys can find Jono, and please give him a follow. He's definitely wonderful photographer. Definitely worth your time. Thanks so much for being here, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks for having me.
yeah. As always, thank you so much to my lovely Patreon subscribers. There are your names right here. You guys are awesome, keeping this channel going. The link to donate is right here and in the description down below. It is just $1 a month for the first tier, and it really does go a really long way towards growing the channel, making sure I can do this for a long time to come. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe, ring that bell if you want a notification every time I post something new, and we'll see you next time.